this is Beth. I'm back with another prompt for our Dephemerember 2023, the prompt list, and I'm a little bit behind over here, and I'm going to do magical creature. Although today's prompt is nature's treasure, I'm going to do magical creature and catch up. Now, I've been thinking about this. This is a page I want to use, and it's just a plain old book page, and I have added some gesso to it. So I'm thinking magical creature, and it came to my mind that art for me is like a magical creature. It gets into you and it can transform you from, let's face it, we all get grumpy some days, especially days when we've gone without art for like 4 or 5 days. And then it's like starting to wear on you. You need to get back into doing some art, to making something. And once you get started and you get going and you lose yourself in it, then it's like a magical creature has taken over your space, and everything is fine. We're not grumpy anymore. We're in the zone. We're having fun. And that's what art is for me. So today I kind of want to relay that onto my page if I can. So what I want to do is I want to use my art word here. And I want some wings for my art. And I need a heart. So I have this piece of watercolor paper, and I'm just going to roughly sketch a heart. I'm not sure like of the size of that. Let's try that and see what we come up with. I have an idea in my mind. The ideas don't always work out like I think they should. So here's my heart. And then I have these wings that I could add to my heart. So I also want to stamp and cut them out. Let's move our book out of the way for a little bit on this watercolor paper. So I want to use some permanent ink to stamp them with. All right, I'm going to use some Stays On jet black ink that is permanent to stamp my 2 wings down. I'm not sure actually where this company is, what this company is that has these stamps. It doesn't say here on it, so I do one, then I'm gonna have to do the other. But what they are is they go with, let me show you, this girl here. There we go. All right, so now we have our wings. We'll cut those out. So a lot of the magic in the art is the supplies that you use. It's not even necessarily true that you have to know each and every technique, and you can't stray from any technique. You do what you want to do. So what I want to do now is I want to take my art, and I'm using a Versamark ink pad, which is a watermark stamp pad that is pretty sticky and holds the ink very well. I have taken my heart and I've already inked, I used watercolors. The watercolors are magical in themselves also. So I'm going to stamp art right on here, and then I'm going to dip it in my gold embossing powder like this. And if it doesn't come out perfect, it doesn't come out perfect. I'm not going to stress over that. Now I have the word art on here, and I want to heat set this, and what the heat set does is that it melts this powder that we put on here. So I'm going to just hold this down and do this. So how pretty is that? Now, my magical creature is going to be this heart that has wings. I want to go around the outside edge of this heart with, I should actually use some black ink. We'll just take the StazOn and just rub the edge of our heart like this. And the reason I want to do black instead of my normal grungy colors is that my wings have the black outline on them. So we'll just add the blank here. There we go. And then we'll glue our wings to our heart with some art glitter glue here. Just put a little bit of glue on the back of the wings, and I want them coming up like this and up like this. Let's see how we have it. So this is supposed to represent my heart when art has affected it and how it reacts to art, and it's a magical creature. The art is a magical creature to my heart. So we want to take this, and this is our little piece of ephemera that we want to add to this page here. This is a pretty big page. I did look for a smaller page, but I wasn't successful. In this journal, the only smaller pages I have are these check stubs, and I wanted something bigger than that. So we're just going to go with this, and what we're going to do is add some inks. And this book is pretty much mostly about the nature and the rusts, the browns, the greens, the yellows. So because of that, I want to take some of my yellow oxide, and it is Liquitex acrylic ink, and I want to drop some of the color on here. We're kind of, let's see if I can get this side up maybe so that lays a little flatter. I don't need something too big to put under it. Let's see if this works. It's probably too big. There, that gets us flatter. Our inks don't run right off. And I'm sure you've seen me do this like 100 times already. It's my favorite magic medium currently. And then I just want to spread my inks around, and no rhyme or reason how they're going to go. I'm just spreading them. Let's give them a little bit of water. It helps spreading them a little bit better. And get some. This is a really pretty color. I didn't have my inks last year when I made this journal, so this is a new medium for me to be using this year in my journals and all my artwork is just the inks. I thought about it a lot last year, and it just was never the time to purchase a few. So anyhow, so there we have that color, and so that we don't get too messy with them, I want to dry them each in between. All right, I have this page. It's a book page out of a bird book that I have done some gesso and I have done some stenciling with. I'm just going to tear some of that off and use this as a collage element here. It moves our project along a little faster when you have scraps like this that you can use. I think even at this point that's a little too much, so we're going to tear it down a little bit further, and this strip will come in handy somewhere else at some point. There we go. So let's now ink up this, and we're going to go back to the brown. That's what's in our journal, even though we used black on our magical creature over here. So this is the process, making any page in my journal, and it doesn't even matter what journal I'm working in, it's always a process. And it's the process that if you can relax and not worry too much about the outcome, granted, we are all going to worry about the outcome because we all want beautiful art. but we shouldn't be stuck on it so bad that if it doesn't turn out just the way you thought it might, that it's ruined, because it's really truly never really ruined. You can always go over it, start all over. I don't think I have yet, I can't remember throwing away a page yet, especially if it's a page that's already bound into your journal. You really can't throw it away. So I'm going to add this on. I want to have, I'm going to make a tag out of my, maybe it should go this way, right? Yes. I'm going to make a tag out of my creative creature here, my magical creature, and I want this as a tuck spot here. So I want to just glue down the two shorts and the long side here. And I also think that before I glue that down, I'm going to go back to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew to get some stitching on here. I like the stitching. And I think I'll take also my card here. Let's get a little work done on our card so I can take that back and sew it at the same time. My sewing machine is not in the same room with me right now. I'm kind of between rooms. Before I got Sammy, I was moving everything into my bedroom for the winter because this room is so open and big. It's a big room. It's an open room. It's a sunroom. It has vaulted ceilings and a loft. And of course, that's all expensive to heat. So I didn't have Sammy, so I was moving everything back into my bedroom where I have a really nice area that I can use as a little mini studio type space for the winter. And it, of course, be far cheaper to heat that than this great big room that you really can't get warm anyhow because it's too big. That was before I got Sammy. Then I got Sammy. My whole life changed. She's a magical creature in herself. Anyhow, that's too small of a room to try to confine a puppy in for the hours that I spend in making art. And so I had to ditch that idea of doing all my art in there for the winter and go back to having the sunroom here as my space. That's why I'm between two rooms at the moment. Some of my stuff is in there and some of it's out here. And let's see, January, February, March. And by the end of March, I should be able to be out here like full time again. And it won't, you know, be as much to heat at that point as what January, February is going to be. I think I'm rattling. I'm just kind of muttering here. I'm going to use some of this paper also that I have, that I've been using in the journal, and use it as some background for my magical creature that we have here. I really like having these papers on hand. It makes the project go faster. So if you spend like a day or 2 days or even 3 or 4 days, you know, and make a nice stack of different colors of papers and colors that you like, colors that you know that you're going to use. Now, like for me, normally I don't use much blue and rarely do I use red. Red as in red, not a toned down pink, but a red. And so I wouldn't do, you know, my collage papers in those colors. Green, yellow, brown, and those are my colors. Those are my colors that are easier for me to work with. And I find when I'm doing my art that if I use colors that I'm comfortable with, as opposed to like the red or even the blue, it's more enjoyable for me. I don't get at all stressed when I'm working with these colors. Now, for Care December, we have blue, and that is totally out of my comfort zone. But it is what it is. That's what the Care December for this year is the color blue. So I am stepping out of the box, my box, and I am playing with blue. I'm finding that I'm kind of liking it. I'm finding that the more I do with it, the easier it becomes. And so that's one good thing that these type of prompts and projects are good for, is to get you to step out of your comfort zone. Because normally Would I have chosen blue for my project? Probably not. Now, I do have blue on these wings because I thought that they were kind of like their wings, you know, they belong in the clouds or whatever, and so I wanted to have blue on it. Now, I don't feel that's quite enough. I think that we should have like some more texture behind that, and I want to go with some cheesecloth, and I don't think I want to use, if I can find my cheesecloth. You know what I could also use is a tea bag underneath here, which would look really pretty. No, I kind of want to go with a cheesecloth. I want to go with like the light. Here's our cheesecloth. Here we go. And I want a piece of white. I don't want a piece of the darker color. And I want to put some cheesecloth underneath my magical creature. So the other day, I was in Walmart and I was picking up some last minute things like wrapping paper, some gift cards, and tape. And beside the tape and the wrapping paper were scissors, of course, Scotch scissors. And I'm looking at those and I'm thinking, you know what? My scissors rarely cut anymore. They are horrible scissors that I have. So I treated myself early for, it's less than $5 pair of craft scissors that they're not, I do have my fabric scissors and they're just for fabric. These are the craft scissors. Okay, so there is going to be my card. On the back, let's stamp the lines. No, I don't think so, not yet, because if I'm going to stitch on here, then I might want to cover the back of this with some paper that won't matter. So I'm going to take this and do stitching, and I'm going to take this and do stitching, and then I will be back. I'm back, and I have my stitching done on that part. I think I'm going to leave my strings dangle. I really like this look. I don't need them to dangle quite as long as what they were, but okay. We'll save these strings for something else. And I'm going to glue on my pocket. Do I want to glue on my pocket? Yeah, I don't think so. There's what my heart is looking like, and I went around the outside of my heart 3 times. There we go. We'll set this aside. We'll set this aside. And I need to add either some collage paper here or some color. And I think I'm going to do like some color. Now the green that I have in ink is pretty dark, but I think that will offset like this and this. So I think we're going to try it. We can always like, you know, take some off if we want. There we go. And we'll get that a little bit wet here. Start it flowing. I love the way it spiders out. And then I'll just take my brush and just kind of randomly move that ink around a little bit. Like this. It's now, see, to me, this is joy. This is magic because this touches my heart. These greens, this yellow. If I would add a little pink, which when I have my card on here, right here, I have pink with it. It just is, they are my colors. Everybody has their own colors. One color is not the right color to go with. You use what speaks to you, what brings magic to your art. And that's what's going to create a page that you're going to really like, is when you're creating with colors that you like, because it's going to be pleasing to your eyes. So now I want to take this, I'm going to put the lid on the glue, and I want to dry it. So we have some brown and some greens. I like those colors together. We have some script already on the page, and I'm trying to decide what it's lacking. My pages are always much busier than this, so let's see what more we need to do. I'm thinking there's got to be some more paper put underneath this. Oh, those colors match really well. Well, we could not think this through too much, right? It's always nice to add a little bit of, and that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to add some tissue paper. And I'm going to add soft matte gel. Use that for my glue. Get it on the back of this piece. And that will allow, the tissue paper will allow my color to show through that I've put on the bottom here. And it gives me a little different kind of text, different kind of texture. There we go. I'm going to put this right about here. And then we'll put another layer of gel medium right over top of that. Secure it all down. And your tissue paper almost disappears. Almost. I can still see it no matter what kind of tissue paper I use. But it does what it's supposed to. It's supposed to be translucent. So there we go. Look at those pretty colors shining through. Let's add a little bit more of the tissue paper. I just picking from pieces that I have laying on my table here. I'm not going off and picking more. And let's see, how much tissue paper do we want? I don't think we want all that. Let's tear this. Let's see. We want this. That's not too much. Let's add this whole piece right here. As long as I can still see my color underneath. Now, a lot of times when I'm doing pages like this and I don't leave room for any journaling, that's where the journaling cards and the tags and that come in handy, or stationery if you like to add stationery in your pockets or whatever. Then you can still have your journaling space, but still use your space that you want to use for art. Now, this piece of tissue paper is some from a roll of Tim Holtz tissue paper. The other one that I had, you know, I'm not really even sure where I got that piece of tissue paper. It may have been given to me from my friend Linda. I'm not positive. Here we go. Now I'm liking this page even better now. So yes, we had some text on there already, but this is way different text than that is. All right, and then I'll dry this. That's much, much better. This might just be, you know, it's just one layer, so it might be that that's just one layer and it needs more to it. So I'm thinking, does our tag match what we've got going on here? I think it does. We've got the brown from here to here on here. We've got the green color in here. So I do think that it does. And our magical creature, which is my art heart, makes a nice, I think, to me, a nice contrast. The wings will be blue. It doesn't even matter if there's any more blue anywhere else, because for me, the wings are blue, the wings are blue. That's just the way it is. The pink, I could add a little bit of pink down here, which would be a really good idea. So let's take our ink and just a little bit of pink here and there, just to pull the two pieces together. So we'll put some here, maybe some here. There, I'm liking that. I'll let that run a little here. And where was this going to sit? Like right here. So I think we'll leave the pink off that. That's enough pink on our page. Let me get that dry. So now, yes, that pulls the pink from the tag into it. The tag is good. I'm happy with the tag. We'll have to get the art glued down. Not quite sure about over here. We need some layers over here, but I can glue it down because I'm not going to put anything underneath it. So let's get that put in place. And I'm going to use some tacky glue on this. I have it pretty much centered here on my page. Centered between the top and the bottom, not centered between the two sides. That makes a nice little tuck spot. Let's get our art heart glued on. We will use, I'm not going to glue the wings, I'm just going to glue the heart. And unless the wings get in the way when I'm taking it in and out of my pocket, we will find that out shortly. You know what, I already know that they're going to, yes. So let's glue those wings down. Here we go. Now, to address the back of our tag, I don't mind that stitching, so I'm going to just go ahead with my stamp. Move this hair back out of the way here for a moment. And I'm going to stamp my lines on here. And to do that, I'm going to use Vintage Photo. Here we go. So there's my journaling space. Now, sometimes on the back, I like to add something from the front. So I have this piece here, and I'm going to glue that on there too after I ink up around the edge of it. That brings something from the whole piece. This is from the tuck spot that we have. So it doesn't take up too much room of the journaling, but it gives a little bit of design to the back of our card. Just like that. So I like all the messiness of it. We'll bring our book back, get it set up here again. And this will fit inside there quite nicely. This is all very nice. This is a little plain here. So what would I want to add over there? All right, I found a label and some words and a number. Let me get those all inked up, and then we'll place them onto our page, our corner tuck spot there, side tuck spot, hopefully in a pleasant way. Might have to cut those numbers, those letters there. What I'm thinking when I picked out my words here and my quote here is that you need to follow your heart when you're working with art. You also need to think outside the box, so use your imagination. And when these different ideas, when you're inspired with different ideas, you want to embrace these ideas and all of the possibilities that it could bring to you. So we have the word imagine. Let's take our tag out for now. And we have this little label, although I'm having a feeling that our label is going to be too small. I originally wanted to put my words on it. I was going to, let's ink this up, and then we're going to cut them so that they're separate. And then we'll do embrace the possibilities. So we'll have to now ink up the sides that we cut. And this was the reason for that label, was for these words to rest on. And they might still do that. And they may not even have to be on there. They could be over here. So we could do, let's turn our label maybe like this. Embrace the possibilities. And then we'll take imagine up here. And let's layer some cheesecloth underneath that. I had a piece here somewhere. Things get tossed as I'm working, and then I don't see them after that. So here I have a piece of cheesecloth, and I want to put that underneath imagine. It's kind of originally going to go with embrace the possibilities, like this, and then have imagine up here. I'm not so sure if that's too much. Maybe they need to be more connected, like this. Maybe it needs to go over here, like this, with imagine there, and then with our tag inside. That's speaking to me just like that. So we are going to take our cheesecloth, put a little bit of our art glitter glue underneath it here, and put that down, and then we will put glue on about a half of this. Oops, I got some glue down there. And then glue that down so it sticks over the edge of our little tuck spot here, but it doesn't close anything up. So we have that. That would have been nice if I would have stitched around that too. Then let's glue our words down here onto this label. We'll do embrace the possibilities. And I thought about adding something underneath this, but when I put everything together, it looked fine to me. Usually I go for more, but I think this time around I'm going to go for less. Embrace the possibilities. Like that. And then we'll do Imagine up there. We have our art heart there, and we will take, oops, we have a number here. Let's put the number on the Imagine one. There we go. That looks better too. All right, now we get our lid on our glue, and let's take a look at this and see if there is anything more at all that we think this needs. Art heart. My art heart is my my magical creature. There we go. Imagine and then embrace what you've imagined. Thank you for watching today, guys, joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you again soon. Bye now.